Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we're diving into something super interesting. The difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. It's something that affects so much more than just academics, you know? I was just thinking about it this morning, how easily we can get stuck in our habits, and it all boils down to this concept.
Absolutely, Andrew. It's a hugely impactful idea, and honestly, a lot of us operate on autopilot without even realizing we're holding ourselves back. So, for those who aren't familiar, a fixed mindset basically assumes our abilities are set in stone. You're either good at something or you're not. Like, I'm just not a math person or I'm not creative.
Exactly. It's this belief that talent is innate and unchangeable. And it often leads to avoiding challenges because you're afraid of looking incompetent. A lot of people, I think, are born with this default setting. Have you noticed this yourself, Ava, in your own life?
Definitely. I used to completely avoid trying new skills just because I was worried I'd be bad at them. Like, I'd think, I'm not a musician, so why even try to learn guitar? It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's fascinating how powerfully this mindset can limit us.
It's a really clever trap. Then you contrast that with a growth mindset, which is the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. People with a growth mindset embrace challenges, see failures as learning opportunities, and are constantly seeking to improve.
Right. It's about the process more than the outcome. Someone with a growth mindset wouldn't give up after messing up a chord on the guitar. They'd say, okay, let's try that again, and maybe I'll experiment with a different technique. It's all about the journey.
And it's not just about intelligence or talent. It applies to literally everything: relationships, career, hobbies. I've noticed people with a growth mindset are generally more resilient and adaptable. Have you seen this in your relationships? Maybe?
Absolutely. With a fixed mindset, you might interpret a disagreement as a personal attack, feeling defensive and retreating. With a growth mindset, you'd see it as an opportunity to understand the other person's perspective and improve communication. It's a huge difference in how you approach conflict.
It's incredibly powerful. Now, a really interesting thing is that research suggests we can actually shift our mindset. It's not necessarily something you're born with and stuck with forever.
That's what I find so hopeful. It's like retraining your brain. It's about consciously choosing to see challenges as opportunities, celebrating effort over innate talent, and focusing on learning rather than proving yourself. What steps do you think someone can take to cultivate a growth mindset?
Well, one key thing is to change your language. Instead of saying I'm bad at this, try saying I'm not good at this yet. Small shifts in phrasing can make a massive difference. Also, actively seek out challenges.
I totally agree. And surrounding yourself with people who have a growth mindset can be really helpful. Their positive attitude and belief in your potential can be incredibly motivating. It's a real community effect.
And importantly, you have to be okay with making mistakes. Reframe them as valuable learning experiences. It's the biggest hurdle for many people, this fear of failure.
It's so much about vulnerability too. Allowing yourself to be seen as someone who is actively learning and improving. That level of self-acceptance is key. It takes time and consistent effort, but it's incredibly rewarding.
It's a fantastic reminder that we're all capable of so much more than we think we are. It's about embracing the process of becoming, rather than focusing solely on the end result.
And I think, ultimately, a growth mindset fosters a greater sense of joy and fulfillment. It's about enjoying the challenge and the journey of self-improvement.
That's a brilliant way to put it, Ava. Thanks so much for sharing your insights with us today. It's been a really valuable discussion.
My pleasure, Andrew. I think it's a concept everyone should understand and strive towards.
All right, everyone. That's all the time we have for today. We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Hey, Ava, have you ever noticed how people react when they're faced with challenges or setbacks? Some folks seem to just give up, while others use those moments as an opportunity to grow.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that difference. And it got me thinking about the concept of growth mindset versus fixed mindset. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, for me, it's all about perspective. When we believe our abilities are fixed, We tend to avoid challenges because they'll just make us look bad. But when we adopt a growth mindset, we see obstacles as chances to learn and improve.
That makes sense. I've always been someone who likes to think of myself as a learner. But how do you know if you have a fixed or growth mindset in the first place?
Research suggests that our childhood experiences play a big role in shaping our mindset. If we're constantly praised for our natural abilities, we might start to believe they're fixed. But if we're encouraged to take risks and try new things, we're more likely to develop a growth mindset.
That's really interesting. I've noticed that when I'm working with clients who struggle with self-doubt, it's often because they have a fixed mindset. They feel like their abilities are defined by their past experiences or talents.
Exactly. And once you recognize that, you can start to challenge those thoughts and rewire your brain to focus on progress rather than perfection.
Progress rather than perfection? That sounds like a pretty tall order. How do we make that a reality?
Well, it starts with small wins. Celebrate the tiny successes along the way and use them as motivation to keep moving forward. And don't be afraid to ask for help or seek feedback. It's a sign of strength, not weakness.
I love that approach. But what about when we're facing something that feels truly overwhelming? How do we apply this growth mindset then?
That's where self-compassion comes in. It's okay to feel scared or uncertain, but don't let those emotions hold you back. Instead, focus on what you can control and take it one step at a time.
One step at a time? Sound like a pretty liberating approach. What are some strategies for maintaining that mindset over the long haul?
For me, it's about creating an environment that supports growth, whether that means finding a mentor, joining a community of like-minded individuals, or simply setting aside time each day to reflect on my progress.
I think I'm starting to see how this can be applied in all areas of life. From career development to relationships and personal growth, it's not just about achieving success, but about becoming the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about the growth mindset. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's a willingness to evolve, adapt, and learn alongside our experiences.
That's so true. Thanks for sharing your insights on this topic, Andrew.
No problem. Ava, it was a pleasure chatting with you.